It's recording now, I think.
Oh, really?
Oh wait, recording's pending.
Okay.
Oh, it started recording. Sure. Okay.
So I'll start off.
Yeah.
All right. So first, I'm gonna argue on why Billy was justified to be upset with Othello. So first of all, he's he like in a marriage, like he kind of makes a commitment to be loyal to someone, and I feel like that's one of the uh, strong pillars in society. And even if obviously people break up, but he had an affair. He did not. If you didn't want to be with her anymore, he should have first kind of divorced her, at least told her that they were he intended on it, and then he could have gone in that. But instead, he kind of went behind his back. And secondly, he just kind of continues to push a stereotype as of the black male as kind of leaving their wife, uh, kind of just in it for the sex. And when he says why he wants to be you could argue that he's being more um, racially progressive, going into a relationship with a white woman, but he says that it's because she's easier, which you could take it as she has lower standards. Um, I don't really know how you could take that in a way by calling someone easier based on their race as progressive. So I don't really see I don't think uh, that there is a much of an argument that Billy was unjustified to be upset with him.
Yeah, and well, basically building off of what you said, Mary. Like like I obviously agree with what you said that he kind of like mixes stereotypes of like the black like female and male like person, you can say, and like how like they have like lower standards than like white people, and like it's so much easier and so much like simpler to just be with like a black person. And yeah, we just like all in my opinion, I see that all throughout the story. We just see here that she's always like caught, like she's basically like living a life of like agony and anger, but almost you can say that like one of the reasons that like you can see that this is like actually true is because she's always like being taken, well, at the beginning, especially at the beginning, she's being taken care of for like landlady and like Othello's sister. They're like almost like in a way babysitting her because she's like broken. And yeah, it's just like there's this quote I pulled like from page 90, and it says that Billy takes the small package out of her pocket. She unwraps it, revealing a small vial of fluid. She goes into the kitchen, vial in hand, turns toward the fridge, opens the freezing door, and stares into it. She then said, "Look this way and see your death, Othello, Othello." She places the vial into the freezer. Well, I mean, we all know that in a way she was like exaggerating, that she wasn't actually intent of like killing her, of killing him. But we can clearly see that her words, that she expresses her like feelings of how she's heartbroken and desperate for like justice in a way, and that is why I feel like she most definitely had like you said, Mary, like a right to be like angry at him. That like in a way like we can all see that her like life is in a way like corrupted, and there's like almost like no way for her to like move forward, and she's like stuck for what happened to her, and then like her marriage. And there's this part in the book that I also remember that she said that she believes like he isn't acting the way his skin like is, which again is like stereotyping, but again, I feel like it's a strong argument that like you can't just like be black and then say like, oh, because I'm black, like what he said is like, it doesn't matter that I'm black because like, black men are like, like some of them are poor or whatever, right? And like I feel like the way he's making stereotypes, then she does the same by saying that he's not acting the way his skin is. It's just in a way not correct for either of them, but in a way she had like no other option, right? Because she was like left for like a white woman, which in that time seemed like like not an actual offense to like law, but like to like any person would have been like a big impact in their life for sure.
So really, I would agree with you guys. I would say that some of her anger is justified towards Othello. Like he cheated on her. He went behind her back. But I do believe some of this other anger was kind of not self-inflicted, but kind of handed down to her from her mom. And it was in the book. It was said that her dad talked about the mother being very moody and having the same kind of uh, like almost mentality, same kind of mental state. So I believe that yes, Othello did aggravate this mental state, as I said, but I believe that it was also kind of there already. I also feel that like it's Othello's choice whether he wants to be with Billie. Uh, the way he went about it was wrong, but I do believe it is he's allowed to choose whether he wants to stay with her or not. He should have like filed for a divorce and he should have done it the proper way, but it's still I feel like that is his choice. He just did it the wrong way. Uh, the other point being that Othello has the full custody of his daughter. I thought you guys would bring that up. Um, Even though he has full custody, because of Billie's mental state, it doesn't really. I don't think that it would be a good thing to have the daughter in her control. I don't think that would be the best thing for the daughter. So yes, she should be allowed to see the daughter, but really, I don't think she should have full custody because that I don't think that would be the best for her.
So I'll go, like, I guess one of the ways I guess you could try and justify Othello's action is that given like the circumstances are far from normal. So like if you think like it was like modern day where he was not like where there wasn't all these hardships going on, he probably wouldn't have married her in the first place. But because they have such a like there's such a small like almost like segregated, right? Like he feels he could only marry a woman from like this area, this race, this like I don't know, one specific walk of life. And I also feel like they also both might have been pressured into it. Also because being like obviously today like most of us like we have the luxury of when we decide to say like marry someone and start a family, it's because we want to. Whereas them, it could be because right when you're on your own and you're very disadvantaged in society, it's a lot harder to make ends meet than when you kind of uh, become part of a family unit uh, where you can like obviously you don't when you're in a family unit you don't work you still have independence but you don't work like just for yourself like you uh, kind of have people to rely on that makes some aspects of life easier so they could have just done it purely because like or been rushed into it because of that aspect of things even though they might not have been meant for each other uh, at like any point in time.
Yeah, I would agree with what you're saying there. Um, I do think that there's like a other side to that though. I do feel like getting into a family can make it worse and actually make it like more stressful. Like the thought of having a kid, it's very expensive, it's very hard, it takes all of your time. So yes, I could see that they were kind of forced into it, and that was the only way that they were able to make ends meet and have a better life for themselves. But I do think that they kind of jumped into it without fully thinking about the negative repercussions that could come in the future.
Right, yeah. And I mean, yeah, like I agree with both of you for sure in this, like, both sides, but I feel like in a way, like Yeah, I feel like they, like you said, Ben, they kind of rushed into it, you know. But like, I feel like even if it was like rushed, I feel like after all, you know how like Billy's like family put like Othello through like like his studies and all that. I feel like at the end of the day, like even though like whatever was happening between them, and even though Billy was like suffering from like depression and like extreme like mental issues, still feel like he kind of had like in a way at least like not fully, but like the obligation to at least try, you know, like
Yeah,
try like harder because like I understand like yeah he's like entitled to be with whoever he wants to be, but like after they basically like built a life for him, I feel like a bit of like compassion towards the family would have been like the least he could have done, you know.
yeah. There's a bit of an obligation there to do something. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, if I could just like say one last thing, it's just like kind of you do have like I feel like when you go into like a relationship like that, um, I mean like obviously I'm not like saying you can never get divorced or anything, but like you should be there for your spouse like when they're in a rough time and not just like when it's what you want, when everything's what you like it's give and take, right? Like
Mhm.
not when everything's what you want, you can't just be there and then as soon as they are in a rough spot and like having a hard time in life, even if that makes your life at that certain point in time a little bit harder, like you shouldn't just like leave and like I don't know, just like be like screw them. Like you have an obligation to at least try to make things work and uh, help them when they're in a rough spot.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree. I would agree. So
Yeah.
here, go ahead, Daniel. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say like yeah, I agree because like yeah, basically like yeah, because when you like marry someone, you like kind of accept like that you'll be like there, you'll like be with them despite like their flaws because like we're all like imperfect and we all have like sort of defects. So yeah, I think like yeah, like you're right, Murray.
Yeah. So
Uh, Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do you want to start looking at like what a good consensus would be, with like what a good middle point?
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say if we didn't, no one else had anything else to say. Like for me personally, like obviously it's not gonna be out. Like we have to come to a consensus together. But right now, I'm kind of on like she was justified to be upset, but also you can't fully put the blame on Othello given the position he was in.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I think I don't know if it's a full 50-50 split on like the responsibility, but I
Mhm.
would say yeah, they both do need to take some responsibility for what they did. They
Yeah,
were both in the wrong at points.
yeah. It's not like clear cut like oh good guy bad guy. It's kind of you know between like I don't know. It's somewhere. I feel like it's somewhere between 75 and 30%. You
Yeah,
know,
I
or
would agree.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because like um yeah, I feel like it all comes down to like when they I mean assuming when they got married and they were like together and everything, I feel like they both knew that they were both like imperfect and they had like Billy like Othello knew Billy had like a lot of like mental issues and I'm assuming that Othello kind of showed some signs that he wasn't like like the most like I guess you're gonna see like the most like loving man and like the most like honest person, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I feel like yeah, like you two said, like I feel like it shouldn't be like 50-50 because like there's a lot of factors that come into it, but yeah, for sure I feel like somewhere yeah like 70-30-ish, 70-60-40 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That's that 60-40 is right around where I would have landed as well. So I think that's a good
Yeah.
endpoint. So who would we give the 60 to, and who would we give the 40 to?
Like
Um
like would it be like leaning in favor of Billy?
That's the way I would go. I would probably
yeah.
lean in favor of Billy, just because he kind of left her in the dust. He kind of just he ran away from her. Like yes,
Mhm.
it was his choice, and yes, he has the choice. He's allowed to, but he kind of he there must have been something there that he already knew there was something wrong, and it was just he took an off ramp and he ran away from it. So I'd say it leans in favor of Billie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I'm assuming he did it this way because he knew that if he would have went straight up to her and decided like, oh, like we need a divorce or something, he knew that was still gonna affect her, right?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's why he just went like that was like very tough for him, obviously, right? Because either way, she was gonna hurt her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like yeah, like I think it'd be like in favor of Billie, to be honest, because like well like in the book, right? It says like she's been struggling with like all of that like mental illness and all that for a long time. So I feel like the way like knowing that, I feel like Othello should have been straight up honest with her because the way he did it, like in a way, I feel like affected Billie more than it could have. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. He made the problem worse than making it better. Yeah, I'd agree.
yeah, for sure.
Does anyone else have anything they want to add to it, or
I think I'm all good.
awesome?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'll end the recording.